Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have full year 2024 results and review. A very good show, I will say. Very long. Definitely had a few points where unfortunately kind of fell out of the flow of the show, but overall still a phenomenal show. A lot of great matches on the night, and yeah, how'd you enjoy it?
Yeah, really good show overall. Maybe some pacing issues or something like that kind of threw me off like towards the latter half of the pay-per-view. But it was still fun overall, and I had a great time, as I do with most AEW pay-per-views.
Yeah, let's get things started. Where we on the pre-show, where we had Anna Jay defeat Deonna Purrazzo, and then we had Buddy Matthews win a fatal four-way versus Dante Martin, Commander, and Beast Mortos. But then the main event, the real main event of the night, Big Blue AJ defeats QT Marshall in a very honestly good match. This is really fun to watch, and just was very very solid from the two.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical about the match going into it, but it ended up being just a really good time. They didn't take it too serious. The wrestler was there. Big Justice was there. Yeah, the match went on, and Big Boom AJ, he did a few impressive things. He got a few body slams, some spine busters. He does like an axe handle off the top rope at one point. We see QT Marshall do an amazing dive over the top rope into AJ. And yeah, I mean it was a fun match overall. The ending goes with Big Justice finally getting in the ring. He hits a big spear on QT Marshall, and that gives Big AJ the upper hand to get the win here.
Yeah, and it was also worth noting that when the Rizzler got announced, he came out with Paul White Big Show, which was really funny. Loudest pop I've ever heard. Bigger than the Stone Cold pop. I think we need to start calling it the Rizzler pop. But yeah, really fun. The expectations were very low for match quality, but if I'm being honest, they over-delivered. And if I'm also being honest, wouldn't mind seeing them again, to be honest. I think there's a lot of people, like a Jeff Jarrett could be funny. Even an MJF could be a little, something cool. But yeah, really enjoyed this, and yeah. Going on to the main show now, we start off with the Fatal 4 tag match, where Private Party do come out on top and retain their tag team champions.
Yeah, it was a little weird that the tag team match started the show. You would think, one of the, I guess, stronger built matches or something would have kind of came into play here. But, Private Party does come out on top, as I think we both predicted. But it was a fun match. They had a lot of cool spots with the Outrunners doing their Hulk ups and everything versus Brody King. And then, yeah, it was just a good match overall. The Acclaim came out and Max Caster was doing his rap, and then at the end he kind of throws the mic at Anthony Bowens, and you see a little kind of face off between them two throughout the entire match, and yeah, it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I think this match did what it was supposed to do. It made Private Party, just have a good win against three pretty good tag teams, and then it also sets up the Acclaim for what looks like an eventual split, or maybe like a fake split between the two. Like you said, Max Caster throwing the mic at Anthony Bowens, and then at one point tagged himself in, and kind of just ruined their kind of match, and they're set up for failure basically the entire match. But yeah, really enjoyed this. Malachi and Brody looked amazing in this match as well. Just doing their thing, and then obviously, like you said, Outrunners also did their job as well. So pretty good match. I enjoyed it. Next up, though, we had MJF take on Roderick Strong, where MJF does get the win.
Yeah, this match, it started off a little bit slow, but once they started kind of picking everything up, it was amazing. A lot of MJF working the arm of Roderick Strong. He does this brutal-looking stomp where Roderick Strong was holding onto the top rope, and then MJF goes to the top rope and jumps and kind of coup de grace his arm basically, and it looked like it hurt a lot. Obviously I don't know how any of that works, but it looked brutal. And yeah, he just kind of continued working that arm throughout the entire night.
Yeah, and he also works the fingers as well, which kind of is like the true way he kind of won the match, because at one point Roger couldn't fully get in his chokehold, and yeah, really good match. Really enjoyed it. Roderick Strong looks like a beast, still able to do moves he was doing 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, really enjoyed this match. We did see after the match MJF attack Roderick Strong and kind of snap his arm in a chair, and Adam Cole lately comes out and MJF's already out the arena basically, and Kyle O'Reilly gets in his face. They kind of have a little face off, but yeah, Next up, we have Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander for the TBS champion, where Mercedes Moné comes out on top.
Yeah, and this it might be match of the night. It's between this and another match that we'll get into shortly. But this is probably Mercedes' best match. I'm gonna have to go and rewatch the Stephanie Vaquer match to kind of judge those two. But I think this one's gonna have the edge. Chris Statlander always puts on a really good match. She looked like a monster during this match, just kind of ragdolling Mercedes at different points of the match. Mercedes looked great, showing off her kind of luchador style, or just her athleticism and how quick she is. And yeah, I mean, they just played into Mercedes just being a little bit smarter than Chris Statlander was stronger.
Yeah, these women absolutely hooped, and they had a phenomenal match. Not to take away any credit from Mercedes, but Chris Statlander, I think, has had a phenomenal year this year, putting on literally no bad matches this year. I can't think of one, really. But yeah, shout out to her. I think she deserves her flowers. I know a ton over, but yeah, Mercedes gets the win here. Definitely glad she had a very good match here, because I think a lot of people are starting to doubt her, maybe thinking she was washed and stuff like that. But I'm glad she had a phenomenal match with Chris, and potentially stole the entire show.
Yeah, in our predictions, I predicted that Camille would get involved somehow, and that would be how Mercedes loses the belt. And I did kind of think that was gonna happen, because before the pay-per-view officially started, you see a backstage segment with them two, and she kind of gets in her face and she tells Camille, stay backstage. I don't need you. Basically, you've been messing up. And yeah, that kind of led me to believe that obviously she was gonna come, because she said to stay.
Right.
But yeah, it didn't end up happening. She won clean per se with a she kind of trips her into the middle rope and it chokes her. She gets the pin. Yeah, that's how she wins.
Yeah, very fun match. Interested in what's next for Mercedes, because we kind of don't have any real direction for her. Same for Chris, so definitely excited for these next few weeks. Hopefully, the real feud isn't with Camille, but yeah, should be pretty fun for these next build-up for World's End. Next up, we had Jay White defeat Hangman again, and now he is 5-0 over him. Yeah, what'd you think?
5-1.
5-1.
Yeah, but yeah, he goes 5-1. I definitely didn't expect him to win, especially being that he won the previous match as well. But yeah, he does it. He does it clean, and it was just an amazing match overall too. The previous match we just talked about, the Mercedes match, that went nearly 20 minutes, and same with this one. This one goes 20 minutes, and it deserved every minute of it. Yeah, it was just an amazing match. Jay White has been, I guess they're kind of giving him a big, test to see how the crowd can get behind him after these big wins and whatnot. And yeah, I think they did a great job.
Yeah, this was a phenomenal match. Just the simple things they were doing, just Hangman working the leg and Jay White trying to work his leg. And yeah, they just had just phenomenal maneuvers and just sequences that just look so seamless. You can tell the chemistry between them is so just amazing. It feels like they've been wrestling each other for 30 years at this point, but yeah, it's just chemistry is phenomenal between the two. And yeah, Jay White getting a really good push, and I really enjoy that, especially going into this Continental Classic, which I kind of think and kind of hope he is going to be in that. And hopefully he has a good showing again like he did last year, and hopefully maybe even wins it this time. But yeah, really good match. Next up, though, we had Kyle Fletcher defeat Will Ospreay in another very, very good match.
Yeah, and this is the match I was talking about earlier that you could say is match of the night, arguably. So it's either this one or the Mercedes match. I think I might give the edge to the Mercedes and Chris Statlander match, but definitely this one was amazing. This goes above and beyond, and it also went nearly 25 minutes. We see pile drivers onto steel steps. We see one of the most vicious hidden blades that you've ever seen. I mean, yeah, I'll let you talk about it more, but it was just an amazing match overall. They go blow for blow, and yeah.
Yeah, this match was really good. Honestly, they kind of played into Will Ospreay, kind of saying that he's not feeling motion, or not motion, but he's not feeling in one of his arms. And he was talking about how his kid was touching him, and he didn't know that he wasn't even feeling him, because yeah. But yeah, they worked. Kyle Fletcher worked that into a lot of it. The power driver heat onto the steps was insane. Definitely looked nasty. I hope that everything's good with Will. But like I said, the hidden blades from Will was insane. Every time he hit, I was like, "There's no way he's not like putting his all into that." But yeah, really good match. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher gets the win. I think he's somebody who else can be in the Continental Classic and really have another good showing. I can imagine Will also doing it, but this might be his way to not be in it because he'll be too injured for these next few weeks.
Yeah, and I think Kyle Fletcher really stepped up here and showed that he is on Will Ospreay's level, and he's gonna need to, when he does come back and bring more than he ever did to take on Kyle Fletcher. And it looks like he's gonna be, maybe a big player. Maybe he'll have some, stuff going on with Takeshita. I think that could be fun if that were to happen. Maybe he gets too cocky, too much of an ego or something. But yeah, I think that would be really fun. But yeah, this was just a good match, and hopefully we see Kyle Fletcher go on to do something with maybe a Daniel Garcia or something.
Yeah. Next up, though, speaking of Daniel Garcia, he faced Jack Perry for the TNT champion, where he does come out on top, and we have our first title change of the night with Daniel Garcia finally getting the TNT champion.
Yeah, and this match is kind of what I wanted. Unfortunately, it felt a little bit flat. But, Daniel Garcia got the win. That's who I just kind of wanted the title change to happen. The Jack Perry thing just didn't really work, in my opinion. It was pretty cool at the beginning whenever he first came back with the scapegoat thing. But I think over time, people just kind of fell off with it. And it just didn't really get a lot of fan interaction behind, what he was doing with it. But this match was just... like I said, it kind of fell a little bit flat for what it was. It went nearly 20 minutes. And, I feel like maybe this could have been a 12-minute match or something.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of points where things just get a bit too slow. I think if you, like you said, just maybe trim this match maybe from 18 to maybe even 15, maybe 12. Maybe that might be too much. But, yeah, instead of doing a lot of this slow moments, just kind of able to do your big moments back to back just to keep fan interest. Because about at this point, because after that Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay match, the crowd was very deflated after having 3 amazing matches. So I kind of feel for the fans, but yeah, obviously this did its job. Gives Daniel Garcia the belt, writes Jack Perry off with the Young Bucks because none of them were there. Okada and the Bucks were not there, so this kind of he can go back with them and hang out with them.
Yeah, and he makes some tap with the kind of figure for the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. And yeah, he gets him to tap out, and that's our second submission victory of the night.
But next up, we had Konosuke Takeshita retain his international champion against Ricochet in a honestly very disappointing and fell flat match that on paper definitely didn't think this was going to be one of the worst matches on the night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say the match was bad. Obviously, Takeshita, he's just amazing. Somebody who's been growing a lot on me, slowly becoming one of my favorites in AEW. And Ricochet, just have a history with him in WWE. We know kind of what he can do. And on, there were points where things really picked up. Takeshita was kind of throwing him around off the top rope, doing like a Falcon Arrow off the top rope and whatnot. Ricochet doing his Ricochet things with the dives and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it did just kind of fall a little bit flat. I was kind of hoping that he would kind of fall into like the Will Ospreay thing where he tries to be the best match of the night, and obviously everyone tries to do that, but unfortunately it just didn't work in this one.
Yeah, to be honest, when I say like this might be the worst match of the night, that's just me saying more my expectations for this were pretty high, and it probably fell far away as possible. But yeah, I think I don't know really what this does for Ricochet, because now this is kind of what was his thing. I kind of didn't think he was going to win anyway, but I kind of am interested. Maybe he's a guy who's going to be in this Continental Classic. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. He fits, that style. But for Takeshita, I hope we get some type of, if it's not, we can't do Kyle Fletcher, obviously, but, you could split them up if you wanted to. But yeah, pretty excited for what's next for him as well.
Yeah.
And then next up, we have Bobby Lashley taking on Swerve, where Bobby does come out on top and gets the win.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I wanted it to be and what I expected it to be. And just nothing more, nothing less. Just Bobby just showing off just how powerful he is. Swerve he's always going to do his thing. He always puts on good matches. He never really misses. His probably one of my favorite spots was there was a point where Bobby at one point moves the steps in front of the announce table, swerves on the other side, and he runs and jumps off it and does the swerve stomp onto Bobby through the table. And Bobby just kind of terrorizes him all night with the spears and just everything. And this is just what I wanted it to be. As I said, he's just showing off how powerful it is. It makes him look very strong. Keeps you interested in who's going to be next for him, who's going to be added to the group, who's going to be feuding with. There's still Shelton Benjamin as well. And yeah.
Yeah, this match, like you said, I think this did exactly what it needed to do. It makes Bobby look, like the beast he should be. I don't think this really hurt Swerve too much. Obviously, his stock's going to drop a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still Swerve Strickland. He still had a phenomenal match here. And really, he's going to be a guy where no matter what, he can take losses. He'll still be one of your top guys. He can get wins, and no one's going to not believe in it. So I think this still helps everybody out. And yeah, Bobby Lashley, these next few months to go into the new year, I think it's going to be a very good time if he gets put with the right people to just play to his strengths.
Yeah, there's a lot of good matches for him, such as like a Darby Allin. I think that could be really fun. Yeah. There's a Brian Cage. We kind of talked about that earlier. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things you could do with Bobby Lashley going forward. And also to mention, this is the third submission of the night because he wins with the Hurt Lock over Swerve. And then after the match, they throw in Nana, put him in the Hurt Lock as well. And yeah, they're both kind of knocked out in the middle of the ring as they walk off.
Yeah. But yeah, going into our main event now, we have Jon Moxley defending against Orange Cassidy, where he does come out on top and retains the AEW World Champion. What do you feel about this, though?
Yeah, this match, it was pretty much, I think I said this a few times already, but this is exactly what I expected it to be. I wanted Jon Moxley to look like this unhinged man who will do anything to just get the win and prove his point. And that's what he did. He bloodied Orange Cassidy up immediately, and there was a lot of just brutal spots, just throwing him into the steps at one point. There was so much blood that there was literally a blood print of his face on the steps. Just everything you could imagine happened. A few Marina Shafir kind of distractions, and she kicks him in the head a few times. And yeah, this was just a big brawl, a big Orange Cassidy making Moxley look like a monster. As soon as the match starts, he just goes and does like 3 or 4 orange punches. Moxley just falls out the ring, and that's just a big brawl from there on out.
Yeah, I think, like you said, and I'll say it again as well, another match that just did what it needed to do for just, the current landscape of AEW. And I think this goes to show how good this show really was. But yeah, this match was really good. Love, Orange Cassidy trying to, be the babyface, trying to rise up and outcome, Jon Moxley's brutal attacks where, it looks very vicious sometimes. But yeah, really enjoyed it. And after the match, we kind of get a big, I forget kind of how it happens, but basically Jon Moxley comes out, Wheeler Yuta, it kind of helps gets the win as well. They pour some type of liquid on him. I'm guessing it's some type of bleach or cleaner or something like that. And then some more baby faces come out. They leave, and then we get stuntman Darby coming out and crashes into their truck, so they have to flee in another car. Very crazy ending to the show. But yeah.
And also, we forgot to mention, before the Darby spot happened, he's kind of celebrating a little bit with Wheeler, and then Christian comes in with his new contract. He hits, first it was Hangman that comes out, actually. Hangman comes out, and he does something to Wheeler. I forget what it was, but he kind of knocks him down. He goes face to face with Moxley. And as he's doing that, kind of distracting him, Christian comes in from behind, hits his finisher, he hits the finisher, gets his contract, but Hangman's kind of holding on to it, wouldn't let it go. And that kind of serves enough time for Jay White to come out and kind of put it into all of that. And then at that point, the rest of the Death Riders come out and attack him. But yeah, Darby, like you said, crashes his car into the truck that they've been using for the past few weeks. Then they beat up an ambulance man or something and take some keys. Then they steal a car and drive off. Yeah, pretty insane ending there. But there's also another thing that we forgot about, and I believe it happened around after the Jay White match, maybe, and that is the Marina Shafir, not Marina, what am I talking about? Mariah May championship celebration with Mina Shafir. What am I talking about?
We're tired.
Yes, I just watched 6 hours of wrestling. But yeah, with Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May doing her championship celebration, where she talks about she's the best and no one can stop her. Mina is just kind of celebrating with her, and it's all fun. And they say they're gonna celebrate. They start dancing their way to the ring. Mariah May grabs a bottle, and I guess they did like a smart wrestler thing for once, and the crowd interaction let her know, oh, she's about to do something. So she was actually smart in the moment, turns around, notices she's about to do it, dodges it, kicks the bottle away, and they have this big face-to-face where she couldn't believe what was happening, that she was about to turn her back on her best friend that she literally just said 10 seconds ago, and then she kind of spears her off the stage through a table. And yeah, that was your Mariah May championship celebration.
Yeah, definitely like that, just because I'm glad we are getting an idea of who's going to be next for Mariah May, because I feel like after the Toni Storm stuff, the Reign, I think they kind of just didn't have anything planned after that, really. So I'm glad we get a good feud that could get really good with two great women right now. And yeah, I think that should be a really good match. So yeah, that's something to look forward to for the next year as well.
Yeah, hopefully we see a Toni Storm return soon. She was kind of talking about she was going to retire recently and whatnot, and Tony Khan had to come out and say, no, she's not retiring, guys. But yeah, overall, this was a really good pay-per-view. Was really impressed with the Big Boom AJ. Just a really fun match overall. Then the MJF Roderick Strong match, really good. Mercedes, Chris Statlander. My favorite match of the night. What was your favorite match of the night?
Yeah, I really do like that Mercedes and Chris match, but since you went with that, I'll go with a different one. And if I'm being honest, I'm going to go with Jay White and Hangman. I think the storyline going into it was really fun. And, like I said, another match that the chemistry was just amazing between the two. Yeah, but that would do it for AEW's Full Gear 2024. Their second to last pay-per-view of the year. We have World's End in middle of December, I believe, so that would be the last prediction for AEW. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.